Coach, in your second season here at Cincinnati, I loved one of the things that you did here this offseason as you were getting the team going on picture day. You didn't just take your normal picture in the uniforms, but you also had your players in suits. Suits have gone away on the college basketball sidelines, but why was that something important for you to do with your players?
Yeah, we've been doing not just the pictures, but for years, when the NCAA allows that within the rules for us to purchase guys a suit. So we've been purchasing guys a suit for years when they join our program. And, I don't enjoy putting on a suit any more than the next guy, but I think it's important to teach young people things outside of basketball. And one thing we want to teach them is kind of how to be comfortable in different environments that they're going to be in after they leave our program and leave our university. And so that's kind of why we do it. And then we have some fun with it. In terms of taking pictures and doing some stuff on media day. And also it allows fans to see our guys in a different light. They don't see them in just a uniform. And there's a lot more to our players than just who they are inside of those 94 feet. So there's a lot of really good stuff that goes around those types of things. But it was fun too.
Coach, we're going to send things over to Tom Fenstermaker with The American. He has some questions from the media waiting. Tom, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Morgan, and thanks, Coach, for joining us. Our first question will be from Jason Stam of BearcatReports.com.
Hey, Coach, you've got a lot of transfers this year. I had them last year too, but in year two, how do you feel the cohesion level has been so far within the program, within your guys?
Yeah, you mentioned the transfers that are joining the team now, but with 7 returning guys. And, of those 7 guys, there's a lot of returning minutes played, a lot of returning experience. So the continuity this year relative to last year is completely different, right? I mean, we were all new to each other a year ago. There's a bunch of us in the building here every day that have already worked together for a year. So, it's made it a different experience day to day in the preseason for sure and in the summer. And I think it's helped onboard those guys that have joined the program because there's people here that have already been in the program that have been able to kind of help them with assimilation.
All right, our next question will be from Justin Williams of The Athletic.
Hey, Coach, you full court, 3-quarter court pressure was such a big part of your defense at UNCG. Do you feel like you're getting closer to being able to play the way you want to play defensively here at Cincinnati?
Yes, I do, Justin. We just didn't feel like the way the roster was made up last year that it made sense to do some of the things we'd done for the 6-7 years previous, where we were coming from. I think you'll see us implement those things this year early in the season. From a practice standpoint, we've worked on our full court defense. But we kind of build up to that, and we always add our 3-quarter court stuff later in the preseason. We hope to implement that in the next couple weeks, and I do think that'll be a part of how we play early on.
All right, our next question will be from Chad Brendel of
Bearcat Journal.
Bearcat Journal, sorry.
Coach, Jeremiah Davenport's a veteran guy. He's a local guy. All the word around the program is about how impressive of an offseason that he's had. Can you take us through maybe what you've seen from him this offseason and how he's grown into a better player?
He has. He's really matured, Chad. His effort in practice every day last year in games, it's always been exemplary, right? I mean, he's always played hard. He's always played with passion. That's who he is. But his commitment outside of those moments has really improved and really matured. And you can see it with his body. And all of our guys improve with Mike Rayfield. I say it all the time. We have the best strength coach in college basketball. It's a fact. And maybe I'm biased, but I don't think I have to be on this one. He's that good. So all of our guys' bodies improve just by working with Mike every day. But Jeremiah is improved in the times that he's not required to be here. And you can just kind of tell his focus is different, his approach is different, and it's impacted his game when he is in practice, given that same effort that he was given last year.
All right, our next question will be from John Tiedel of Hoops HD.
Good morning, Coach. I know it's not the next. Sorry about that. I know it's not the next game on your schedule, but how excited are you to go to Maui in November, and how do you prepare the team for an 11:30 p.m. Ohio time game in Hawaii?
Yeah, we're really excited about Maui. You're right. We won't think ahead as a team. We'll think about what's in front of us today first. But listen, it's the premier tournament or preseason tournament in all of college basketball. I'm not sure some of our players even understand it because it hasn't happened for the last couple years. You know, I mean, we had the pandemic, and so they played the Maui Invitational, but they played it in Nashville or they played it in Las Vegas, and it's just not the same when it's not in Maui. So not only are we excited to be a part of it, we're excited that we're a part of it as it kind of goes back to the island. And I was a part of it as a player in 2004 at North Carolina and had an incredible experience and great memories from that. So there's some excitement and anticipation to kind of go back and go through it in a different role now and have our players kind of hopefully get that same type of an experience. The field is incredible, right? I mean, you look at the field, and I can't imagine there's a possible better field for a preseason event in college basketball. So it's going to be a challenge. It's a challenge we're excited about. And I think regardless of what happens when we're there, we'll be a better team and be more prepared for what we have to do in league play after we come back. So it'll be a great opportunity for our program.
All right, and our final Zoom question will be from Tim Daniel of 48 Minutes Network.
Coach, you guys bring in Landers Nolly, obviously a big pickup for your organization. Can you kind of talk about, the importance of bringing him in? Obviously, a guy who played in the tournament last year, obviously familiarity within the conference. How big is he for your program as you guys are starting this transition moving forward?
Yeah, I've said this a lot. I think the 7 returning guys, I don't ever want them to get overshadowed because that continuity that we mentioned before. I think it's so important, and we want to celebrate guys that stay in the program, and they'll have a lot to do with our success. That said, the guys we've added in our recruiting and added to this roster really bring something to it, and Landers brings quite a bit. You mentioned experience. I mean, he played in the Maui Invitational his freshman year at Virginia Tech, so he's the one guy that kind of knows what we're walking into there. He's played in the NCAA tournament. He's played deep in the postseason in the NIT and won a championship. So he's got great perspective. He also brings us some scoring punch, and if you looked at our team last year, it was something we wanted to really address. Was we struggled to score the ball, especially in the second half of league play, and he scores it at a really high level. He's a guy that can finish plays with his ability to catch and shoot and his size. He's also a guy that we found can really create plays for others. So I think we'll use him a little differently. Certainly he'll play around others, but he'll also have the ball in his hands in transition. We'll put him in screens on the ball. And I think he'll be a guy that can generate some offense for us and take some pressure off of guys that maybe had to do too much of that for us a year ago.
We'll take one more from Zoom. It'll be from Marshall Kramsky.
Hey, Coach, you touched upon it a little bit earlier about the continuity coming into year 2. However, specifically, what have you learned from year 1 that you're implementing right now to get better as the season comes in just a few weeks?
Yeah, there's not like one answer to that question. We're just so much further along today than we were on this day last year, just because there's familiarity, right? There's an understanding of some of our foundational values and the things that we do every single day. So the guys that are returning can bring the new guys along, and I think as a coaching staff and as a team, when we're out on the floor, we're working on some of those details that really impact winning, that maybe it wasn't that we didn't want to get to those things at this point last year. We just weren't able to because everybody was so new, and we're kind of still in those baby steps. So, there's not a great answer. There's just a lot of things that we're doing in terms of details, in terms of things that I really think matter when you start playing games, whether it's situational things, whether it's execution of certain action, understanding of roles. There's a lot of stuff that's just a lot further along, and I just think it's because year 1, you're trying to put it together really quickly, and it's not just new for me as a coach, it's new for every single person in that locker room, and that's been really different to this stage at least.
Hi, Wes. Mark Adams in the studio. Great to see you. Thanks for access to your practice the other day. And I snuck around and I was looking at your culture. And you have two different posters there to talk about we, that culture of we. Why is that at the roots of your coaching philosophy?
Yeah, well, Mark, good to see you, and thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the effort. I know you get out and try to see a lot of people, so I've always appreciated your effort to actually take that inside look to see how we're approaching it. Now, it is about team first. That sounds cliche, but yet you have to have a certain level of talent. You know that. But the teams that separate in college basketball, they sacrifice for each other, and they sacrifice for the name on the front of the jersey. And for us every day, it is going to be about development and growth every single day. We're not going to get consumed with things we can't control that are going to happen tomorrow. We're not going to get consumed with things that happened yesterday that are over. We're going to obsess about today, and we're going to obsess about sacrificing for the team first. So it is always about we, not me, and that stuff sounds cliche, but we try to bring that to life in how we approach it every single day.
Hey, Coach Miller, Brooke Weisbrod here in the studio. That's just such an awesome mantra for the guys to buy into. And looking at this year's team and looking at the potential of the defense and how strong it is, it just seems to just elude these 90s Cincinnati defense vibes. And I'm just wondering if you have maybe a couple of players that you really like from that era, or have you shown any of the film of the 90s Cincinnati defense to the guys?
It's good timing, Brooke, on the question. We had the 92 and 93 teams back this past weekend for a reunion. And so the 92 Final Four team and the 93 Elite Eight team. So it was great. And Coach Huggins was so great just to come back. And I know how hard it is to get away this time of year from your team because we're practicing. But to have those guys back, we actually had videos and highlights at their reunion Friday night. And our players were there and got to watch, and they got to listen and see how those guys interacted. One thing I said when I talked to that group, because I was and I wasn't trying to date them, but I was a youngster in those days. I do remember it well, but I was really young. That group made playing hard really cool. That's what I remember watching Cincinnati in the 90s and watching Coach Huggins' teams. They made playing hard a cool thing, and we're certainly going to play really hard. And we got to make sure that's seen as cool again, because it wins. And so, yeah, we're very well aware of the tradition here. We've embraced it.